All right, in this video, I want to talk about the optimal length of time, the optimal duration to do a lean bulk for. Now, a lean bulk is a period of time in which you're focusing on gaining muscle while still staying lean. You know, for a long time, the concept that the model people used was to do a bulk, deliberately gain a lot of size and a lot of fat, and then spend months cutting. So you'd have, pretty much 6 months of gaining muscle and putting on a lot of fat, 10, 20 pounds of fat, then you'd cut that fat over the next 6 months. And what happened was a lot of people, after the whole year, they end up going back to square one. All the muscle they gained during the bulk, because they weren't cutting properly, they weren't lifting heavy, they weren't consuming enough protein, and they were cutting their calories too much, they'd end up sacrificing a lot of the muscle tissue that they gained. So that model people used to use, it works for some people, but for a lot of people, with average genetics, they end up just kind of being back at square one. And during the bulk, they end up gaining fat. They lost the chisel in their face didn't look as lean. They lost all the benefits of being lean because they're putting on 10, 20 pounds of fat. And then when they're cutting, they have to cut for a long time, and then they lose a big period of time to gain strength and gain muscle. So that model proved not to be very, very effective. So lean bulk is when we gain muscle, but we try and maintain a certain level of leanness. Now, that doesn't mean that we're trying to drop fat while putting on muscle. That's more of a recomp, and it doesn't mean that we're scared about adding an ounce of fat. We just try and maintain a certain level. So we try and maintain a certain level of leanness. And my recommendation is you don't want to be gaining more than 5 pounds of fat on a lean bulk. And that should not be an issue, because when you lean bulk properly, it takes a lot of time to gain fat. And so the short answer is, for example, let's say you're lean bulking and you're eating at a 2,000 calorie weekly surplus. That's a pretty strong surplus, but not that strong. There's 3,500 calories in a pound of fat. So after a month, you're eating 8,000 calories. That's just over 2 pounds of fat on a month. And worst case scenario, half of that's going to be muscle growth and lean mass. The other half is fat mass. So you really are only going to be gaining about a pound of fat maximum per month. And of course, when you eat more calories, your metabolism ramps up. Your body starts to burn off, extra energy more easily. And so on a lean bulk, it should take about 4 to 5 months minimum to put on the 5 pounds of fat. That is if you're doing it right, it should 4 to 5 months is the minimum amount of time it should take to put on the 4 to 5 pounds of fat. So what happens is some people, when they go on a lean bulk, they don't do a proper lean bulk. They end up kind of overeating a little bit, and then they gain 5 pounds of fat in the first couple months, and then they want to cut. And the problem with that is that it takes time to gain muscle. It takes time to put on muscle. So if you put on the fat too fast and you have to cut, well, you're losing the ability to gain muscle on a lean bulk. So the first thing that we need to talk about is not to over consume your calories. If you're gaining 1 to 2 pounds of scale gain a week, you're going to run into issues very, very soon. So the optimal amount of time to do a lean bulk is going to be the minimum 4 months. 4 months is the absolute minimum. The fastest rate of muscle growth you tend to see is 2 pounds of muscle per month. So if you just came off a long cut, you haven't done a lean bulk in a while, it's possible to gain 2 pounds of muscle per month. So 4 months means you can probably gain 6 to 8 pounds of lean mass. So that's the shortest amount of time that really makes sense to do a lean bulk, because what's the point of trying to put on like 2 pounds of muscle? It's crazy. 4 months is the minimum, and you can lean bulk for up to 8 months. That's pretty great, especially for intermediate and advanced lifters. That's really the way to go for 4 to 8 months. I'm going to probably end up lean bulking September, October, November, December. I'll probably go at least till December, but I kind of want to do January, February. So I'll probably do 4 to 6 months while trying to stay pretty lean. And again, what happens is a lot of people that are a bit more overweight. They've been overweight for a big portion of their lives. They get a complex about gaining fat. So when they lean down, they're so scared of doing a lean bulk, so they freak out at the first sight of fat gain. And so they're never able to gain the muscle because they're so scared of gaining an ounce of fat. You have to let go of that complex. You have to kind of embrace putting on some size, embrace losing a little bit of definition. That is completely fine, because that's going to allow you to gain the muscle. So long story short, a lean bulk, the minimum amount of time you should be thinking about is 4 months, all the way up to 8 months. If you're a beginner that's new to lifting, I would recommend you spend the first couple years trying to put on, especially if you're already lean, if you're under 15, 12%, spend the first couple years kind of not cutting, keeping your calories up there, so you can really take advantage of the first 2 years of lifting, because the research shows in your first year of lifting, you can gain 20 pounds of muscle. The second year of lifting, you can gain, close to 10 pounds of muscle. So you've about, 20 pounds of muscle you can gain in the first couple years of lifting, and you won't take advantage of that if you're always cutting. So remember, don't try and do a lean bulk in 1 month. You're not going to see any results. Don't push the calories too high so you end up gaining fat and then you need to cut after 1 or 2 months, because that's not going to work. That's not enough time. And also don't be scared about putting on a pound of fat, because you are going to put on a little bit of fat. I'm 176, 177 these days. I started my lean bulk at about 170, 171, 172. So I put on a good 5-6 pounds, and you know what? I'm still pretty lean, but some days I look a little bit fuller. In some pictures I don't have that same cut, and I'm not worried because I'm going for the size. And this is really the first time I've really embraced lean bulking. This is the first time I've really embraced lean bulking, because I was so focused on staying so lean and chiseled that I never gave myself permission to bring up my calories, to focus on adding size. And now I'm really excited about adding size. It's fun. It's fun to go through these different cycles. So this is pretty much what I wanted to talk about in this video. We'll probably do another video soon about how to set your calories and your macros for lean bulking so you maximize muscle growth and minimize fat. But if you guys want to see that video, hit the like button. If you haven't started one of my programs yet, it's crazy. On my Instagram, we have almost 200,000 people, and about half of them are doing a program and seeing amazing results. The transformations I'm posting on my Instagram are crazy. People are getting in amazing shape. So you can hit the link below in the description to use my physique quiz to transform your body. And also make sure I'll put my Instagram handle in the description, @GrowGallagher. Follow my Instagram. We got such cool stuff going on Instagram. And that's it. See you soon.